Okay, so this is basically the flip chart from January 23rd and January 24th. So basically our goal today is to review the coordinate system again, so make sure that we can tell name points and put points in the right spot in the coordinate plane on your x and y axis, and then see if we can figure out distances on a coordinate grid. So they're using Washington, D.C. as an example. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at a city called Euclid. It's a fictional city, but it's based on a grid system, kind of like Washington, D.C. So we just talked a little bit about how Pierre L'Enfant was the guy who kind of designed the city of Washington, D.C. And so basically what he did is he put the capital street at the center, or put the capital at the center. Remember, that's called the origin. And the coordinate for that is 0, 0, okay? And so what that does is it uses north and south Capitol Street and east and west Capitol Street as its boundaries for the quadrants. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. This is the northeast quadrant, northwest quadrant, southwest quadrant, southeast quadrant. And we talked a little bit about how Washington, D.C. is similar to Waterloo in that if you look at it, if you turn to the next page, a lot of the streets are going north and south and east and west, but then you also have these streets here that come in at diagonals. And then if you think about Waterloo, Waterloo has 6 corners, but Washington, D.C. also has these places where there's lots of streets that intersect at one point. So no city is exactly perfect. And if you think about Waverly, even Waverly is kind of divided into a northeast, a northwest, a southwest, and a southeast quadrant, which is not great, I think. We get people's mail all the time, and other people get our mail all the time. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, when we talk about describing the locations of these landmarks, in order to give an accurate description, you can't just say, well, it's on, DuPont Circle is on Massachusetts Avenue, because if you notice, Massachusetts Avenue goes a really, really long way, and there's more than one circle along Massachusetts Avenue. So which one is DuPont Circle? Well, you have to be more specific. You have to talk about how, well, it's where New Hampshire Avenue Northwest and Massachusetts Avenue Northwest and Connecticut Avenue Northwest intersect. And if you're talking about George Washington University, it's kind of hard to describe it because it's got multiple buildings over a number of city blocks where it could be located. So you might say, well, it's at the corner of H Street Northwest and 20th Street Northwest. Or it might be, you know, whatever street this is right here, H Street. It's along H Street between 20th Street Northwest and 24th Street Northwest. So you have to be, it's not enough just to give one piece of information. And if you think about your own address, you don't just tell somebody, I live on Kimball Avenue, because Kimball Avenue is a long street. You would have to be more specific and tell them, I live at 1002 Kimball Avenue, or I live at 915 Franklin Street, so that the people know exactly what they're looking for. That page we're going to skip. Okay, so we talked about a coordinate system before to describe the location of points, and so one of the things that we need to review is that it's always written as x first and then y. So I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to kind of look and figure out the coordinates for A, B, and C, and those are the purple dots up here. So this is A, this is B, and this is C. All right, so if we look at A, remember that the x has to go first. So basically what you can just do is go down to find your x and go across to find your y. Your x number is always going to go first, so 1, and then your y number is always going to go second, so 2. Okay, it's always in alphabetical order. So again, so your x is 1, this is for C, and your y is -3. Now for B is kind of different because B lies right on one of the axes. So if it lies on the axis, whichever axis it's on, that's the letter that gets the number. So if it's on the x-axis, x is going to be the number here. And we don't go up or down, so the y value is going to be 0. So we went to -4 on the x, but we didn't go up any, so the y is 0. So -4, 0. All right, so driving around Euclid. So think about these questions here. Okay, just go ahead and pause it for a couple of minutes and see if you can answer these questions. Okay, so what are the coordinates of City Hall? Well, City Hall is right in the middle, okay, and it's at the origin, and we talked about how the origin is always 0, 0. Okay, the coordinates of the Art Museum. Okay, so the Art Museum is right here. And remember, if we draw our arrow down and we draw our arrow across, okay, do the x first, so 6, 1. And then what do the 6 and the 1 mean? Well, the 6, because it's positive, tells us that on the x-axis we go right 5 or go right 6. And the 1, because it's positive and it's the y value, tells us up 1. Okay? Yes or no, there's more than one way to travel from City Hall to the Art Museum. Well, here's City Hall. Here's the Art Museum. Can I get there using more than one route? Well, we talked today about how you can either go east 6 blocks and then up 1 block. That would be one way to do it. But you could also, instead of going east first and then up, you could also go up first and then east. We also talked about you could, if you were so inclined, go over 1 block, up 1 block, and then over 5. Or over 2 blocks, up 1 block, and over 4 blocks. So there's multiple ways to get to the Art Museum. You could even, if you weren't concerned about taking the shortest distance, you could go up 3, over 6, and down 2. That would also get you to the Art Museum. It wouldn't be a very efficient way, but it's another way to get to the museum. So in response to this question, yes, there is more than one way to travel from City Hall to the Art Museum. The shortest distance, however, is 7 blocks. And it doesn't matter which of these ways we take, it's always going to be 7 blocks. So it would be up or over 2, up 1, that's 3, and then over 4, which is 7. Over 1, up 1, that's 2, over 5, that's 7. Up 1, over 6, that's 7. Over 6, up 1, that's 7. So the shortest distance is 7 blocks, no matter which of the routes up there you take. All right. In here, if I can find the pointer thingy, there we go. Okay, so a helicopter can fly directly from one location to another. It doesn't have to travel along the streets. So we talked about air care and life flight. So if there's a wreck somewhere, a helicopter is not going to fly from City Hall to the hospital using streets, right? A helicopter can fly in a straight line directly from City Hall to the hospital, okay? So how would you be able to find out the distance between City Hall and the hospital? Well, in your book, it uses a centimeter grid, so each one of these in your book is a centimeter, and each centimeter represents 1 city block. So if you were to take a ruler and put 0 at City Hall, and put your ruler down here, it would show you that the distance between City Hall, it would show you the distance between City Hall and blocks. So each centimeter represents a block. So however many centimeters you have, that's how many blocks it would take. All right, so we talked about driving around Euclid. So why don't you take a little bit, pause, and then I'll put the answers for this in another flip chart, and then you can kind of check your answers once you're done answering them, okay?